Hello everybody and welcome to another one of our leadership training videos. Now in these leadership training videos, perhaps you know by now, I cover a few topics for a few minutes just to share with you what my own leadership journey has been all about, the skills, equipment and abilities that I've developed over these years, and more importantly, what are the leadership skills or the traits that you will need? How do you become a more effective leader? How do you grow into leadership if you're not a leader today? If you want to become a leader, what are the steps that you need and how can you grow and evolve wherever you are in your age, your experience, and whatever it is you want to take away. So I spend time just showing you, based on one particular topic, what I think are the key elements within that topic itself for you to grow, learn, and discover. So my name is Chris Igwe. I have over 35 years experience leading, training, and developing teams across 5 major European markets. But I've also worked across the US, China, and Europe, Middle East, and Africa. So I hope this will help you. Please feel free to like, comment, and share, and of course, subscribe to the channel so you know when other videos are becoming available. So let's start off with one which maybe on the surface seems a little bit simple, but in reality it's not. It's about how, as a leader, do you say no? It's 2 small letters. We might even say they're not really small, they're actually quite important, and I'll explain why. But they're 2 letters, and you may think, well, it's easy to say no, but I'd like to share with you that it's not quite as easy as you think it is. And here are the reasons. I guess the most important thing is that as a leader, remember that we are there to grow people. And so when you look at this, you say, if you say no, and no is perfectly okay to say, that can change someone's life completely, maybe dramatically, and therefore there's a consequence of those 2 small letters, which are no. You could change somebody's life for the better or for the worse, depending on how you do it. And obviously as a leader, it's never about making someone feel worse or the situation being worse. And bear in mind, I'm talking about saying no in the context of the people that you lead, not necessarily about strategy or budgets or something that's maybe more corporate. This is about the people that you lead and how you say no. So here are 3 things we need to consider. First is, when you say no, how do you use it? How do you use it? The second is, when do you use those 2 key words, letters no? And more importantly, when not to use it. And I'm going to give you very simple examples. Please feel free to add, collect, and make your own changes to what you want to say. So the first is how. Now, before I go into this, I think it's best to use an example. So let's say a member of your team comes to you, as very often happens when you've been leading a team and you're doing, let's say, annual reviews. So you've come to annual review time, whatever your calendar or cycle is, and somebody says, I think I should have a salary increase of 10%, 15%, 20%, whatever. Or they feel they've done incredibly well based on their assessment of their performance, and they want a bonus that possibly exceeds what you had set for them, what the department set, or what the company set. So we're going to take a financial example because I think it's easier to manage, but there are others that we could add in there. So the question then of how. Somebody says, I want a 20% increase in salary because I believe I deserve it. I've done amazing things. Look at my performance, look at my successes. I deserve 20%. And perhaps the rest of the team or department is only getting 5% or whatever, because people always think, let's face it, we've all been there, we always believe that our performance has been better than perhaps the benchmark that has been set. I've had it time and time and time again. So here are just a few things, and again, like all these videos, I want you to add your own to what you think or what you've experienced or what you're doing. So the first is, choose the words that you're going to use. Choose your words. So when you see that person, what is it that you're going to say? What is it that you're going to communicate to them about the fact that you are saying no or will be saying no? Manage your voice. What sort of a tone are you going to use? Are you going to be different in the way you present or have that conversation, or is it going to be the same as when you normally talk to them, a bit like this, conversational? So what's the tone, what's the voice that you're going to use? And then of course, when you're talking to them, you position the context, you frame the conversation. So for example, they want this 20% increase. Why are you refusing the 20%? They need to understand that. You need to share that. You need to explain that. It's very important that you position the context. And then, like I say, you explain the decision of no. So when you take them through these steps and you manage the situation yourself, it's amazing how that point I raised about what you say and how you say it could change their life completely. And I'll explain why in a minute. So those are the 4 things about the how. Choose your words, manage your voice, position the context or frame the conversation if you like, and then explain your decision. Just saying no is not good enough. As a leader, you can't just say no, or you shouldn't just say no. So when is the best time to do it? Well, the first is make an appointment, schedule it into your diary, and obviously as they're your subordinates, they would meet that as well. Clearly, if they're on vacation, nothing you can do, but set an appointment, make an appointment, put some time together, and that time, it can't be just a 5-minute conversation, even though for you, it's about no. You want to say no, you're going to say no, you framed it, you know the reasons why, and so on, but no. You can't just take them into your office or invite them in or wherever you're having this meeting and then just say no. You've got to make time. And the reason is you want to provide them with not only the time that you're giving them, but you want to make sure that they are feeling in a secure and safe place. It could be your office, and that's totally okay. But what I mean is they are sitting comfortably, listening, and the same with you. You are paying attention. So I could add in here, don't have any interruptions. Make sure that you are giving them that space. So those are the first 3 things. And then, of course, the most important, or one of the most important, is make sure you're prepared. So often I've seen or heard of leaders, even in my team, where I've given individuals leadership roles, and they've done something similar, maybe not around salary, because that's more my role as the head of department, director, business owner. But in some way, shape or form, they've gone into a meeting where they've not been prepared. They haven't reviewed all the reasons why they're going to be saying no, so that the individual in front of you understands that. So you've got to be prepared. Prepare your meeting. Don't just turn up and say no. That's not acceptable. Equally importantly is when not to do it. Because this is the one that could most ruin somebody's life. It could also ruin their perception of you or their respect for you, depending on how important and significant the conversation is. So you never do it when you're in a hurry. You're heading to the airport, got a train to catch, got an important meeting to head off to. You don't have a slam bang short conversation with whoever it is. You've got to make sure you are settling, as I said before, into a frame of safe environment and time. Don't do it. It goes without saying, but I have seen and heard of leaders and managers who've done it when they are in a bad mood. Something has set them off and they're not in the best frame of mind. And the other one, which is, it may not be mood, it may just be the day. You've had a full pressured day, you're exhausted, nothing's gone right. Maybe you're not in a bad mood, but you've had a very difficult or challenging day. That's also not a good time to be able to or want to have this conversation with your team. It goes without saying, but I've seen it as well. Don't have this meeting when you are angry. Whether you're angry about the person asking for 20% and you're just saying, this is unacceptable, everybody else is at this level, I'm not giving them that. Don't do it in a state of anger. And then I guess the flip side of being prepared is don't do it if you are unprepared. If for some reason your calendar has run out, you haven't had the chance to gather all the information, the data, what it is you want to say, reschedule the meeting. It's better to reschedule and say to them, I didn't really have the time, I hadn't prepared, sorry about that. You have to be careful, because if you haven't prepared and they're expecting, because they've also got, all tanked up and they're ready to have this meeting or conversation with you with the expectation perhaps that you would be saying yes to them. So they're going into this without any knowledge, insight, or information, and you've then tell them you're not prepared and you want to reschedule. That's not the best thing to do, so it's best to plan this out, give yourself a lead time, and make sure that you do it. So those are just a few key points about saying no. Once again, the key thing is saying no seems like a very simple 2-letter word, but it's a very important one. I know of people who, because their boss or the leader or their manager didn't explain something in a way in which they could embrace it, it made them leave the company, and they were good individuals. You can't afford to lose good people. If you explain to them and they understand, it's very likely that they will stay. Because remember, as a leader, you are there to inspire them. If by your inspiration and everything else you do, the fact that you don't give them 20% may not be the end of the world. Maybe they're testing your negotiation skills as well. So the point here is, saying no may sound easy, but it isn't. It's a very important one that you as a leader need to learn and to execute to the very highest of standard. So I hope this has helped you. Please feel free to like, share, and comment, and let me know if you have any other questions. In the meantime, please feel free to subscribe to the channel so you know when other videos are becoming available. And until the next time, thank you.